What is good, YouTube? I am glad to be back, and I am so happy to be recording. So much research has been done into this. I wish, this is the tips I wish I knew. Anyway, let's get into it, because I feel like this is going to be a long video today. Anyway, these are the top tips that I wish I knew when I was going into Second C. First, of course, I want to go with the most common area that I set my home point to ever since I started grinding Second C. Of course, it's a private server, so there's a lot of pictures of me. I don't know, I'm just a celebrity, man. Anyway, I do kind of have a bunch of stuff that is for C, but we'll get into that later. I want to go through every single one of these guys. First off, I want to show you, this is where he is. The Blox Fruits gotcha. And this will get me to my first point. Last tip video in First C, I always said, get a Logia. Well, now I'm going to tell you that that might not be the best fruit. The best fruit is going to be still a Logia, but there's one that is the king of grinding, is Buddha. Awakened. And well, if you don't know what that means, I will show you later in the video. But I mean, look at this. This guy does absolutely 0 damage. Like, I'd be dead by now. Look at that damage difference. It is absolutely insane. And then, what is this? Because I'll let you know right now, Logias are still really good. Because you don't get hit by a lot. But about 25% of the enemies in Second C have aura, meaning your Logia will not work. And I will get into more depth about the awakening. But I do need to go through every single NPC one at a time. Because I think that's what's most important. First off, the home point. We already know from this video number 1. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'd really strongly recommend watching it. Now, first, we got Bartolomeo. That's actually like what he's from in the One Piece. But we'll get back to him. He's just a nobody for now. We don't have to worry about him until we're level 850. Anyway, Blox Fruits dealer. Blox Fruits gotcha. Trying to roll a Buddha, so for the best of the best. But, I think Light, still, one of the best. But, things change. Now the customer. This guy's going to tell you, rumors saying, CBs, drop this. Awaken yourself. He'll basically give you a bunch of hints. He's not that useful. But then there's this guy. We'll get to him, right back, alright? I want to, get through all of these guys. These guys are total nerds. Basically, this bounty honor expert, basically off your bounty, he will tell you how much you increase. Well, because of my 5.4 million bounty, I have 20% more defense and 13.6 damage on PvP. That's insane. This is where you get all the numbers. And accessories that you got from First C? Well, let's try one on. I got cool shades from First C. Let's see what I got, nerd. Tell me. I see accessory against 17.5%, run speed, 7.5% more damage on any attack, and 100 energy, 100 health. That's a really good information, bro. These two are the greatest information that you want to know. Then, there's this guy. You remember how you bought aura in Second C? Well, now, there's a guy that roams around the island that you'll randomly see called the Barista Cousin. And if you play for C long enough, you find, random berries in the bushes, and you pick them. Well, this is what you use it for. Basically, through the Barista Cousin, it'll give you recipes. And with these recipes, you'll be able to make colored auras. Which are really cool, because then you can make whatever color you want. And if you have dragon, you get dragon skins. Finally. Where you don't have to look like a basic green dragon like me. You can become a black dragon for all I care for. You could become blue and become Kaido. Anyway. That's about everybody that I want to... Oh, wait. There are these guys. Title specialists. This is where you get to pick any your title and pick what color you want for each of your titles. So, mine shampoo. And my title is... It'll only show up in text. So, hi. I am the Dragonborn. Because I am the Dragon War. Nope. Copyright. Alright, so the manager, we actually want to come back. Because he's actually a level requirement dude. I just wanted to show you him. But basically, we'll get right back into him. There's a lot of things that I really need to get back to, because a lot of these guys in here are level requirements, so I kind of want to save them for later. Kind of want to go into more special things. But basically, this guy is really important for any sword users. Now, I want to talk about this. There is a new currency that you guys might see depending on what you play. If you play on a computer with me, you get this. F. stands for fragments, and how you get them is by killing little sea beasts that spawn in the ocean. I don't know if you've ever seen one, but basically if you roam around, a little big snake from the water will come out. Well, it actually turns out you can kill it. It'll drop these fragments. But the main way to get fragments is this way. Okay, now, we're going to go into the first level requirement, but I mentioned it a little bit earlier. These things are called raids, and here they're basically how you make a fruit stronger. Now, you might be wondering, how does that give me fragments? Well, for completing the raid, it actually gives you 1,000 fragments. The easiest raids are going to be Flame and Magma, but after you complete a raid that is to your specific fruit, you get the chance to make your fruit stronger. These are very limited fruits, and how do you awaken them is beat each raid first off. Then you actually have to have enough fragments. And if you're wondering how many fragments it costs per ability, yes, you have to do a raid per ability. I will have, luckily, this took me like an hour to make. Right here. So, yeah, it's a Google slideshow, but what do you want from me, dude? It took me like an hour to make this. Okay, it took a lot of research. Alright, so, first off, we have Flame. You have to do 5 flame raids, and you have to, and all this is how many the moves cost after said like raid. So like if you have 1,000 fragments and you already have the move for the first move, then you could get your flight because they'll give you 1,000 fragments after the raid as long as you finish before 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, the longer you take, the more fragments you leave. Basically, you have to go island by island and kill everybody. So for the first move, it goes 500, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. And if you don't notice, Flame, Ice, Sand, Dark, Light, and Magma have all the exact same costs. First move is 500. Flight is 2,000. Or movement. Some fruits like Ice do not have flight. Some have it's majorly a movement one. X is for their second move, C is for their third move, and V is for their main move. So you ever like fruit like, man, dude, I want ice. It's so cool. And I've seen people with like combos, and I don't know why I can't do what they do. This is how you get your stuff stronger. One key thing about Magma, it is the king of sea events. What I mean by sea events is stuff like ship raids, and where like ships come out of nowhere and start shooting at your boat, and sea beasts. The guys I talking about earlier, this is how you kill them the fastest. You become a Blox Fruit main, and you use Magma. Now we're going into more special things, the legendaries. Quake only has 4 ones, but it costs 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 8,000 fragments per move. Or no, sorry, said about per move. Next is going to be Buddha. 800, 2,500, 3,500, 4,500, 6,000. Now, if you have Buddha, what is this F? Well, some moves will appear like Ice and Buddha. They don't have an F, but will appear after they do this. And of course, Spider being Spider. Now we go into some more special cases, like Rumble. Now, I don't know if you guys got it, but back in First Sea under Thunder God at Upper Sky Lands, they drops a chance of pull V1. Well, turns out you could fully awaken Rumble. And then, after you fully awaken Rumble, you actually get a second version of that pole, which costs 5,000 fragments, but you do have to have the Mastery Pole V1 at level 180 or more. Very cool combo fruit. Now, about these next 2 awakenings. The reason why I included them is because anybody, you can join any single raid, meaning you don't have to host them, you can just join them. Meaning somebody from 3rd Sea can actually help you with these next 2 raids and host them. And then you can actually win and still get the abilities and the fragments. Even though, in order to host them, you'd have to be in 3rd Sea and do a very special thing. By the way, for all of the past raids, they're free. You already can unlock them. Except you do have to be level 1,100 or 1,100. And it costs about 100,000 belly or a single fruit. Now, for the next 2. Dough. If you wonder what this is, it's your tap ability. For me, it's on left mouse click or basically like whatever you use your fight style to punch. Now, as you can see, in order to get the Dough raid, I will talk about this when I make a 3rd Sea tips, but you shouldn't worry about it if you're a 2nd Sea. You need a 3rd Sea friend to now unlock it, which I'm pretty sure you have to be like almost max level. almost, I'm pretty sure it's like level 2002, maybe 400, I think, in order to do this. Then there's a Phoenix Raid. Similar to Do, you need like special capabilities, including like Phoenix level Mastery 400 and Help a Sick Old Man. But that's for C3 tips. But these are the costs, and yes, they have tap ability, which is really cool and exclusive. But yeah, that's about every cost. Wish I knew that. Of course, I already have them unlocked. But if you want to, I would say, if you want just fragments and you're fragment grinding, I would do Flame or Magma Raids. In my opinion, they're the easiest, for sure. But in order to awaken the specific fruit that you have, first off, okay, so here's some little cheats. You can go in with Buddha into an ice raid and eat an ice last second, and you can still awaken the ability. But in order to awaken ice, you have to have the ice fruit and do the ice raid. They have to match in order for you to awaken it. That is like the key thing. You can't just do a flame raid and awaken an ice ability. That's not how that works. But all the free ones are right here. Flame and light, flame and ice, quake and light, dark and spider, rumble and magma, Buddha and sand. Of course, if you're second C, these will say a lot. But since I'm in third C, I've already done everything. They're gonna say advanced, Phoenix, and Do. Do, Phoenix, and Do raids. If you're curious, just to go, like maybe I forget next video. Costs 1,000 fragments or 1,000,000 plus fruit. I mean, at least Quake or better in actual Blox value. Now that we got all that through, let's move on. There's this guy that will reset your stats points for 2,500. I do still recommend the same strategy of having max melee and defense, and then become a sword, gun, blocks for your main. Speaking of, it's time to talk about races. Okay, so if we go all the way back to Tort. Okay, now's the next thing. Let's talk about races and what this guy does. This guy lets you reroll for just like 3,000 fragments. You know, I have a lot of fragments. So that's a lot. 58,000 doesn't look like a lot compared to $372,000, but it's a lot. Anyway, this guy gives you the chance. So there's mainly two ways to re-roll races. These are, well, in order to roll, quote unquote, roll for races. They include human, angel, mink, and fish. Now, you might be wondering, which one is the best? Well, to be honest with you, it depends on your fighting style. Well, basically, first I want to show you how to roll them. You can talk to this guy, right? Get 3,000 fragments, get a chance, and hopefully you get the one you want. But another way is codes that you can look up yourself. Or you can spend 90 Robux in the shop. I would not personally recommend that, like how you shouldn't spend it for refund stats because it's right there and you can just like do 3 raids and call it a day. Bing, bang, bop. But anyway, there are also 2 other races that unlocks because you got the Secrecy. First, okay, so now we talk about the first race that is unlocked when you enter Secrecy. Still, this means nothing if you're curious. A light of a full moon still doesn't mean anything. I have no idea why I couldn't. This goes all the way back here where these little rocks at, and there's haunted shit. In order to enter here, you actually have to be level 1,000. Now, this guy's extremely difficult because you have to wait for this guy. Wow, that's convenient. Where a shiver runs down your spine, and this guy spawns. Basically, you have to kill him. So then, after you kill the cursed captain like so, you will get, hopefully, a Hellfire Torch. Like so, after you kill him, you come down here, you come into the kitchen, and with the Hellfire Torch that you got from that guy, hopefully, and after killing a bunch of these guys that are around here, you will get 100 ectoplasm. That'll look like this. 100 might seem like a lot, but it's not a lot. And when you talk to him, when you get those 2 things, you talk to this guy, and then you can unlock the Ghoul race. Just with the ingredients. No money, no fragments needed, which is super nice. Now, for the second race, Cyborg. Okay, so I've actually never unlocked this race, so me and you will learn together. Basically, if you, in chest, and if you kill CBs and you get a chest, there is a chance you get a thing called Fist of Darkness. One of the uses is one we'll talk about later about a special boss. Another one is to get the Cyborg race. With this Darkness Fist, you can come in here and click the enter button. With this, it says, and it'll basically say, Dark Chip inserted, get Core Brain. And if you want a Core Brain, you have to come all the way over here, and we're gonna actually fight our first raid boss. Markham attack. You talk to him, and you have to buy a microchip for 1,000. Now, this isn't your regular raid if you've actually played a raid before. This is actually just a raid boss. But with this chip, we'll come all the way back here on top of here. 553 on a raid guy. Come up here. And you click enter until you get a core brain. And all of a sudden, a little door will open right here. With a core brain, you can actually come in here, click the button, and all of a sudden, this will open. And for 2,500 fragments, yes, it will cost you a lot of stuff like that for the Cyborg race. Now, you might be wondering, what is the best race? And really, there's no real answer for that. A lot of people will argue Cyborg, human. Me personally, I am a human. So here's how it goes. Human is how you do a lot of damage. They don't really have defense. They don't have any stuff like that. They're there for damage, and that's it. Like, literally, one of their abilities is the more damage you take, the more damage you do. So basically, oh, you want to hit me back? I hit you quite back twice as hard. Next is going to be Angel. Angel's abilities mainly focus on healing qualities. Ignore that. Mink is speed and agility. Fish is basically a tank. Basically just tank it. There are also other side abilities like running speed, but I'm mainly talking about like the real abilities themselves. Ghoul basically is just lifesteal, and Cyborg is range. So I would do further research on like if you're like a sword main or like you want to get out of combos. Oh, and Cyborg is range. And what I mean by that is like they have like big like electrocution bolts where like basically it's basically how you hit people without needing to hit. So it's like passive, I guess. Passive, but also a lot of range. So it really depends on your fighting style. If you do a lot of damage, but you like you don't really combo, Ghoul would be a good one for like lifesteal. If you're a Buddha, or you do focus a lot more on damage and not on defense, then you're going to just become a tank and become a fish. And stuff like that. Really depends on your fighting style and what you want to focus on. So I'd ask yourself that. Alright, now let's get in. Let's go back. If you remember what I was talking about in the Cyborg race, I talked about a Fist of Darkness. I'd be wondering, does that have any other use? Yes, it does. There's a place called Dark Arena. This is actually our second area. And this is how you get, arguably, your first mythical accessory. One that I don't even have. So, it'd be cool if you guys, like, showed me and you got something I didn't. Well, basically, you grab your Fist of Darkness, you come over here, and put it in here. And with it, you will summon Blackbeard. With a very low chance of getting the Dark Coat, which gives you a lot of good stats. And now, we're going to talk about Bartolomeo. Because he actually unlocks so much stuff. So, this will actually be one of your first... Oh my gosh, I don't even want to say first. There's so many level requirements, but at level 850, you come over here and talk to him. Of course, I've already did it. So, obviously, he won't do anything to me. But at level 850, he'll say, you're being raided. And we have to go all the way back. And since you're already level 850, you should have found these guys. But now, we have to go all the way back and kill 50 swan pirates. The guys right here. You have to kill 50 of these guys. You know, obviously they're not a lot to me, but still, 50 is a whole lot. And when you do 50, you have to go all the way back to Café and get the second quest. Don't worry, there's only 2 quests. Then he's useless. And now he's gonna say we have to go fight Big Boss. Big ol' Jeremy. Jeremy with a lot of heroids. Yeah, Jeremy. And after we kill him, we're gonna get a lot of like little storyline, you know. So obviously, when you clap him just like that, if you're gonna clap him like that, what are you doing? Nah, I'm just kidding. Played this game for 5 years, so, you know. But now he's just gonna say, go free him. And we have to go all the way to the Coliseum. If you're wondering, we were literally just looking at it. It's just to the left. Anyway, now we're going to come down here. And with here, we're going to have to free these guys. In order to free them, we simply enter this code. Y, infinity sign. C. Yes, I am looking at a script. I don't know what you want from me. S. M. This one. We have to click F. Boinkus. H. And B. And these will unlock if you do them correctly. And it'll actually unlock this guy as well. King Redhead. And he will give you... This is a mental image of myself. I'm currently... Yep. And basically he'll give you a little hint in the plot line. But we'll worry about him when we reach C3. But now you have cool little helmet, you know, it's pretty cool. You know, you look like a little Viking. And you will look as cool as me. Ka-chow. Besides absolutely looking ridiculous, he actually does unlock a lot of stuff. Now we'll complete the quest by actually talking to Bartolomeo for the one last time. That's it. Thank you for their help. Yabba dabba doo. Now, finally, we talk to that guy, Mr. Manager. And what he does is basically take you to a long path of the sword dealer. So, he goes by the how long the server has been on. And how you can tell, and how you can have a good hint, is this. He goes in a very specific amount of dialogue by the amount of time. First, he goes, "Are you new to this island?" That's the first dialogue. No, actually, yeah. That is actually what you do if you did not do this quest. He will say, "Are you new to this island?" And nope, that means you still need to do this quest. If a server just started, then it'll say, "It's still too early for you to be here." This is actually what happens in any server. First 10 minutes, he'll say, "It's still too early for you to be here." But the first actual one is, some pirates said they ran into him on a nearby island last week. Check back later and I'll let you know what I hear. Honestly, if you're looking for the legendary sword dealer, I would leave this because it's around 4 hours until he actually comes. After this, a man in here earlier claimed to see the ships nearby today. Check back with me later. It's around 1 hour and 15 minutes left until the sword dealer comes. I wouldn't recommend server hopping because that's pretty good, but still pretty crazy. So I'd consider it. I think he should be getting here soon as all anyone is talking about. 15 minutes until he comes in. Now, you could come in the last 5 minutes or the last 15 minutes. I would not server hop this, but I keep a very careful eye. And then, the next one is, "Hey, I just saw him! He told me he would be in the area for 15 minutes. Good luck!" And then the sword dealer's out. But if you already missed him and the server's been open too long, he'll say, "Man, he left not too long ago." Now, where does the legendary sword dealer spawn? Well, I'm about to show you everywhere. First spot, we're going all the way back to Coliseum. And he should spawn right here. Like right around here. One of the rooms in Coliseum. Next spot he's likely to spawn in is a secret tunnel. See that little hatch right there? We're gonna drop that hatch. And he will spawn right here. He'll spawn on one of these islands. I think it's right here. I'm pretty sure of it, but I think it's one of these islands. Next spot, we're actually gonna go all the way to Green Zone, place with a lot of plants, and he actually spawns on that little leaf right there. I know, what a punk. The man is what it is, I guess. He'll spawn right here. Of course, you'll be able to see him. You won't be inside the leaf. Next spot, be a graveyard. All the way back right near the castle. And he will actually spawn right here. Here on this little mountain. Alright, and if he doesn't spawn at any of those 3 places, yoink this chest. Yoink. He will spawn. Hopefully, this is the most ideal, and I'm sorry that I put it out of order. I don't know why my script was out of order. He'll actually spawn. This is like the first place I would check. But pretty rare, so it is, if anything I did is probably better. But he'll spawn right here. And if he doesn't spawn at any of those places, then you have to run all the way over here. You do have only 15 minutes. Hopefully, yeah, no, you do have 15 minutes. When you get that text, you only have 15 minutes to find this. So, now we're going to go all the way to that little island right there. Or, if you have this, it's actually Remote Island. And he will be right here. Now you might be wondering, why would I want to go against the... Why would I want to go chase that guy? Well, actually, if you're a sword main, he actually gives you 3 good swords that combine into 1. First off, the one I got, I'm going to go in the order that I got him in, was a Orochi. Pretty good slashing, continuous slashing. Yes, sir. Next is the Sashi. Sword dance. Next is the best one of them all. The Shizu. Now this is going good all by itself. True Quiet Rush. And Focus Shot. And if you know, alright, those swords don't look that impressive. But if you go all the way back to Green Zone, and I don't know if you guys ever were curious, I actually did this when I was originally playing. But you see that forest way up there? I'm saying way up there. Like way up here. There's actually a little dude sitting there. And even though all of these swords cost 200. And when you get mastery level on all 3 swords to level 300, talk to this guy. And he will combine them to this. The true triple katana. Basically, I'm Zoro. And I mean, like, who doesn't want to be Zoro? To make arguably one of the most comboing fruits and first mythical sword in the game. Now these guys have a little cheat copy. But let's see what it does. Really good damage. Pretty good like distance and movement. And Dragon Hurricane. Free combo! Oh my gosh. So you're wondering what this guy is? He actually is Usopp! And he'll actually give you a pretty good gun, but I wouldn't strongly recommend it because it's actually a better gun that I'm about to get to right now. So, you get here a factory breach. That is this place right here, right by Café. I know, that's why you would have like, you know, I know, that's why I always have my whole point at Café so I can always do this. Not only do you get a Blox Fruit if you do the most damage, you know, in the factory raid, but you also get the chance for this gun. No, I hate guns. Why would I want this? Well, it's actually one specific move. It's a good shot. Poison them for a while so you can quickly annoy them. Pretty good, like, fast, rangy moves that do poison. But the main move is this one. Acidic Smoke. And this is really good because it gets rid of this. Observation Haki, which is key to PvP. Observation is like one of the most overpowered things, and this could just instantly get rid of it if it touches them for even like a second. because it's a multi-hit and it'll basically get rid of it. But now, we get to the good stuff. Fighting styles. If you listened to Tips 1, I'm so glad you did. Because, boys, it's time for some new fighting styles. First off, it's actually in right by Café. Our last version 1 fighting style. Well, technically. Yeah, I'm just going to say technically. Like, you don't need mastery level for it. It's actually going to be right here. Sabi. And he will teach you Dragon Breath. I think it is the best version 1 fighting style, which kind of makes sense since you need a lot. And of course, I recommend like how I did with Water Kung Fu, Electric, and Dark Step. And if you're wondering, no, you do not have to go back to first C. Actually, you could come over here at Factory, and they actually all have their own little house. How adorable! Dark Step, Water Kung Fu, and Mad Scientist, or Electric. And of course, these guys are really good because we want to get to level mastery 400. I'm about to show you why for these two. You don't come till 3rd C. But first, if we get to Dragon Breath, Dark Step, Water Kung Fu, and Electric. Obviously, if we get all those to level 300, we unlock our first, I'm going to say V2. Because if we get all the masteries to level 300, then we go here. It's a little double mountain, kind of like called Snow Mountain. We go all the way back here. We will get Superhuman. Martial Arts Master. Really good. Super good. Fighting style. Probably, I guess you could count it whatever you want, so I guess that would be pretty good, but now, we're actually going to get into Mastery Level 400 fighting styles. Dead Step, which is the second version of Dark Step, and Sharkman Karate, the second version of Water Kung Fu. Sharkman Karate, I still use to this day, so it's pretty good. Anyway, first off, let's go to Dead Step. And it's actually going to be right here. Now, for you guys, this door is actually going to be locked. And you need to fight that guy right there. And hopefully, he will give you a key. And if it's the room key, you will use it here. And all of a sudden, you can talk to her. And with 2,500, sorry. Little stutter. No, my bad. No, I knew I was messing that up. $2.5 million and 5,000 fragments, you can get Dead Step, the second version of Dark Step. And then, of course, you want to get that to level mastery 400 for the future. It will help you a whole lot. Next one. It's actually going to be at the Forgotten Island. This one's way far away behind like Green Zone and Reverse Mountain, right by Factory. And there's this kid. Dive Rock the Sharkman. And with there, if we come over here and we kill that guy, the Tide Keeper, he will drop a water key. Now, you might be wondering, what does this water key do? Well, if we hand it to this kid that somehow got locked out of his house, he will give us the opportunity to spend $2.5 million and another 5,000 fragments for Sharkman Karate. Now, that's only the only key. Nope, there's actually one more. Yep, we're not gonna win a castle. Now, if you fight any of these guys, or the boss, it's more likely with the boss, you can also get a treasure key. No, it's not for this room, and this room stays unlocked. And no, it's not for one of these chests. It's for this chest. There's a chest right here, and you will get one of the best swords. I honestly recommend this sword. I still recommend the saber, honestly, but you know, it's really cool. The Rengoku. Yes, you're the guy from Demon Slayer. Quite literally, the movie is called Demon Slayer. I don't know how this got passed, but it did. Okay, now we're coming all the way back to Café, and when you hit level 1,000, come all the way up here to the mansion. And you're gonna talk to this guy and give him a 1 million plus fruit. Now, you might be thinking, this guy looks like a dirty bum. He's just gonna steal my fruit. Well, actually, he's gonna unlock this door. And this is how you get one of my favorite accessories, if not the best accessory. But to kill this guy. And he is the only spider user. And yes, this is who you were sworn to slay, according to the storyline. And hopefully you will get swan glasses. And you might be wondering, what are the stats? Those are the stats. This is why it's crazy. 25% run speed, 8% more damage, 8% cooldown reduction on any attack, 8% defense against any attack, 250 energy, 250 health. This is freaking goated. This is my go-to in raids, like, to this day. Of course, Blackbeard might be better if you're a Blox Fruit main, but this is just good in general. Like, it doesn't matter what you have. It's ridiculous. And now, with these, this guy unlocks the ability to get Race V2. The Dawn Swan quest will let you get V3. Now, you might be wondering, how do I get version 2 of my race? And actually, they're all the same way. It doesn't matter what it is. We're going to have to talk to the Alchemist, and he's at Green Zone. He's over here. Basically, we're going to go from the bridge, go over here. I'm going to talk to this guy. And he'll say, thanks for the money if you already have it, but 5 flowers. Oh, how adorable. And we're always going to go in order. This flower, flower number 1, also considered the blue flower, only spawned at night. Supposedly. So, for some reason, I feel like I found it during the day, but it's definitely wait for night. And the most common area for it to be found is over here. You actually go behind Coliseum. Actually, there's no portal over here. There's a little island right there. Little island. Kind of like the mob leader. I don't like him. But unfortunately, this is one you can't just like portal to. Actually, no, you couldn't even portal to the freaking mob leader. This guy doesn't have a special quest. Why, you might ask? Because there is no guy. There's a random rock. But go in here. Actually, a little hatch. And this is the most common area for the flower. If it's not here, the next most common is the graveyard with the gravestone and one, ooh, piece of candy. One right around here, like one like out on the outer edges. I think it's like it's right one around here. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know the exact spot, but like one within the outer ring, outer ring, like this lower outer ring. If it's not here, it's most likely at all the way back to remote, either dead in the middle or right by this tree. And you got yourself flower number 1, or the blue flower. Flower number 2, or better known as the red flower. Spawns only during the day. First one is going to be right here. Oh, we actually got it. We actually found the red flower. It's going to be right here. Obviously, like, it's not going to be like obviously right here, but you know, it's kind of cool that it's here. I can't pick it up because I already have V2, but yeah. This is the first spot. Next spot's actually going to be right up the mansion, right in his yard. Just right here, right by the bushes. Next spot is going to be all the way back in Green Zone. It's going to be right here. The red flower should be right around here. Next spot's actually going to be right by a big, scary blind man. Right here. right behind the rocks. Should be like right here. If not, like just like look around for a second. I don't know how accurate these are. And then last one is right by Café. This is like usually the rarest spot. Usually I'm going by most common to least common. Probably kind of going a weird route with like sword dealing and stuff. The last one, if they're not hit any of those places, are right here. Now you might be wondering, there's 3 flowers. Where's the third one spawn if the first one spawns at day and the other one spawns at night? Well, that's the funny part. That's kind of the hilarious part. The yellow flower, or the flower number 3 actually spawns by killing people. So you don't have to like look for anything. The most like recommended spot to go is like just these guys, because I mean like you can just go in a row, just run in circles, and usually they're pretty easy to kill and most common. It's like where I've gotten the yellow flower every single time. And congratulations when you go back to the alchemist with all 3 flowers. Your spot rat back over here. I actually never went back to the guy that I talked to for the quest of the flowers. You actually have to go back to him and spend, I think it was like 2 million. Anyway, I'm sorry for the confusion, sorry about this, but anyway, I'm gonna let me get back. Bye. Now you might be wondering, this guy actually during the Swan quest, actually got you the ability to get raised V3. And don't worry, there's a V4 at third seed, but we don't talk about that for now. Ignore that. Ignore the fruit factory. Well, how you get to it is right here. Right behind this tree, right behind Diamond. What's up, Diamond? You look like a freaking ogre. Come right in here. That was a lucky guess, too. You talk to this guy, and he will give you a quest to do it. And if you're wondering what the quest is, don't worry, brother. I got you. For humans, you have to kill the first 3 bosses in Second Sea, including Diamond, Jeremy, and Vegeta. You have to come back for every single time. For the rabbit, you actually have, or the mink, you have to collect 30 chests. For the shark, you have to kill a naturally spawned sea beast. Some of the ones, including the one that has Tidekeeper, will not count. The angel, kill another angel. For Ghoul, kill 5 players. Can be as any level as long as they're in the same server in the Second Sea. The player can't kill the same person 5 times. Obtaining bounty/honor from the players is not necessary. And Cyborg, give any physical fruit for arrow. Don't worry, he doesn't actually take your fruit. You just have to like show him a fruit. So obviously like Cyborg's easy. And I'll actually give you one of the abilities. I have human V4, but I also have the human V3 ability called Last Resort. Basically, they should look similar to this, but this basically like gives like the what ability I was saying. If you don't remember, then scroll back. Now I know that was a whole lot, Spyrat, and for that I'm sorry. Second is a lot, but you know that just gives you a lot more to play with. And then I'll post a level guide soon, and you know I hope you pass Second, and I hope I get to see you in a future video. And if you want help, I do Fridays and raid days on my Twitch stream. The name is Splatrat34. I hope to see you guys there. Alright. Peace.